Nikki again with one more video that's personal experience, personal thoughts, no medical advice whatsoever. And that is because this is where I am with everything today. So I figured since I actually have almost 100 followers, which scares the crap out of me, I figure we'll check in with this, although few viewers of the calibration factor stuff. And I have mixed emotions about that. You might be doing yourself a favor by not looking at any of these. Okay. My big question right now is if this is real information, this is what our sensors are working off of, and this is what auto mode is trying to work off of. And it's because there really is something to it. But what it lacks is a current BG, because it does lack that, and that is the faster your sugar moves, the more the damage is going to be, including just to look down at your SG. And if you're really moving fast, there's that 10-minute delay, 5-minute delay, whatever. But if it's just an SG, that's one thing. But if it's actually acting upon those numbers and you've turned around and gone the other direction, I mean, it's setting itself up for some damaging stuff for the user. Regardless, if it's real and it lacks an updated BG, because as long as it's stable, it's got that. But as soon as you start to move, that loosens. And what I have now, I have some kind of understanding of how it works. I'll read every last word of every last bit of literature, because now I need to know. But so far, what it feels like is I understand kind of how it works, pretty well how it works, and I have access to a current BG. So my question is, am I able to do this in manual? Because I have the right tools, including the magic current BG. And that is my question. And whatever I get from that, is it more helpful than harmful? And because, too much information can be harmful. In fact, I reminisce of the days of testing once every 4 days and just keeping my fingers crossed and, hoping not to die or whatever. Those days are looking really sweet right now, but I'm all locked in. So I'm going to go ahead and do it like this now. And I will say that right now, this is my thinking. I have a blood sugar of a 121, an SG of a 108, and a calibration factor of a 5.6. So that 108 and 121 could be the 20% in meter, but it could also be a slight movement in my BG, right? That would be all very reasonable thinking. I want to exercise. I want to push up my calibration factor a little bit, because when it falls back down, which the exercise will cause, I would like it to remain back to stable and not plummet. So I am having a coffee. I've been on a temp basal at a 25% temp basal for 30 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and lock in for another hour and a half at 30%, because now I know that exercise has that lasting effect for me. And that's what I had a hard time with yesterday. So I'm going to have a coffee, no insulin. That I know is going to push me up. I'm going to put in my 30% right now. I'm going to bring my sugar tabs. And I'm going to test my calibration factor 20 minutes into it and see how I'm doing. And then watch afterwards. But I'm going to see if I can't do what auto mode is doing for me, but without auto mode. Because unfortunately, auto mode is not as rock solid as they thought it could be. And I understand why they thought it could be. I will tell you that yesterday morning I woke up and my blood sugar was a 165. And if I didn't know anything about my calibration factor, I would have thought it was great. I did all my insulin. I did everything as usual. And my blood sugar rose to about a 240. And it stayed up for hours and hours. And I couldn't understand. I normally would not have understood why. Yesterday I was watching my calibration factor, and I understood that my calibration factor was continuing to rise and push up. And then I went back and I looked at what had happened overnight. 2 hours minimum delivery. But what was more interesting is an additional 3 hours at a reduced insulin rate. So I added every micro bolus to see what I'd actually gotten over those 3 hours. And I averaged it with the 2 hours of none. And it came out to, for 5 hours, I got 50% of my insulin. So that was awesome and keeping me up over the night. Not awesome in the morning when I had my coffee, unsuspecting, thinking that it was good. My sugar was a 165. So this is a regular thing I'm seeing. Anyway, so I'm going to try to go do auto mode without auto mode and I'll be back.